last 12 months. And then Stephanie's going to talk about some innovation that we have in our channel go-to-market, in particular shed some more light on the HP University, which is a really big deal to us because there goes a lot of work that has to go into this to make it partner-friendly, to make it also something that is sustained from a content and from a finance point of view. So she will talk about that. It is, I mean, you probably picked us up today. It's a milestone event. It's the largest event that HP has at a global level. We have approximately 1,300 partners there at the event. Approximately 600 of them are from the Americas region. Some of them couldn't come because they're either stuck in Miami or Tampa or in Houston. And others that tried to fly from Latin America via Houston didn't make it either, but overall we're quite happy with everybody that is here. We had an amazing year those last 12 months, and I think it's what Dion said, the fact that both of our businesses are growing, the fact that the PC business is growing, the fact that the print business is growing is absolutely superb. The fact that none of our competitors is really at the same level of growth, and that the markets, in particular in PC, is still at negative growth, makes us very special. So it's a really standout, and I think you saw some of the products during the channel session. My team and I, what we are obviously more proud about is all the innovation that we have in go-to-market. So the key things that we have in go-to-market are when we go from a transactional sell of a box, of a PC, of a printer, to a more contractual sell, where we are able to get annuities. And we're doing this in our print business, under managed print. We're doing this with device as a service. And device as a service is probably the hottest topic, in particular in the US market right now. So there's not a customer meeting that I have or a partner meeting that I have where device as a service doesn't come up. And I think I want to shed a little bit more light on why I think this is the case. Yes?
Just to, there.
So I think the reason is a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of our enterprise and commercial accounts, they have been over the last couple of years very busy to move content to the cloud, and they've done that now. They've secured their networking, and they've found ways to make that cloud content available in a very mobile manner. You have different verticals in the US in particular that have moved first. I would say that the banking industry was very early to move content to the cloud, but by now any vertical is doing that. What a lot of CIOs realize is that this move into the cloud and securing your network is actually heavy lifting. It requires a lot of resources. And they had to allocate resources from other departments in IT to the cloud, to the networking. And they kind of not really showing a big appetite to continue to invest in printing and to continue to invest in device from a resource point of view. They want to outsource it. And they've done this 10 years ago, 12 years ago. They really moved their printing business already to managed print services. We are really seeing a lot of success in those past years doing that. But now they're thinking about giving us that device business as well. And for HP, that's a great situation to be in because we are actually the only vendor out there that has printing and PCs. And so we can throw that into one value proposition to our customers through our channel partners and basically set up a device as a service business on top of a managed print service business. So really resonates a lot with us. I think it's one of the reasons why we've gained so much market share in the US market. We have been growing every quarter. In the latest IDC, we have been over 30% in the US and also in the Americas as a whole from a market share point of view. A lot of that is due to that commercial product lineup success. We obviously have also great success with our retail partners, particularly in our consumer business, companies like Best Buy, companies like Walmart, Amazon. We're having huge success and really big growth. I'm also very much looking forward to what we will see happening during the Black Friday period. On the printing side, we changed the way we go to market, in particular on what is very dear to us, which is the supplies business. It's all about supplies. This is where we actually make our profit. The business very much is putting a hardware device in and then connecting on the supply side, on the paper side, and on the services. And we went to a supplies model that is more, from a go-to-market point of view, more pull-driven. So there's a lot more marketing campaigns that ask customers to come in when they have printing needs and buy our cartridges. We had great success with a product that we call Instant Ink, which is a subscription service in the consumer business where you pay $2.99, $4.99, or $9.99 per month, and you get access to 50 pages, 150 pages, or 300 pages per month. And it's an auto-replenishment process. The printer sits in the HP cloud. As soon as the fill level of a cartridge is at 25%, we ship a cartridge to you. The other thing that was super successful this year was Sprocket. Who would have thought that we can get mobile phone pictures that are trapped in the device out on paper, and to do that with teenagers and millennials. And we had a huge success. We are having huge success. We have 70% of the share in mobile printing in the US market. That's a huge number for a category that we actually only entered 9 months ago. So really very happy with the product, but also with the go-to-market we were able to build. And it's interesting to see because this Sprocket product does a lot more than just generate profit for our partners and for ourselves. It actually makes printing cool again. It makes printing cool again amongst the younger generation, and we have a lot of halo impact from Sprocket in our consumer printer devices. So really happy overall with the success that we're having there. I talked in previous sessions a lot about what we call omnichannel. Omnichannel is a phenomena we have in our markets where, particularly in the consumer business, a lot of the brick and mortar traffic is actually moving online. And the online players that we have are very different to the ones we have in brick and mortar. We have some of our brick and mortar retail partners that are operating quite successfully also online, but there are obviously a couple of pure players. For us, when we look in particular in our print business and we see our supplies business change, when we see the channel change mixes that we are occurring right now, it requires us to completely rethink how we manage the category in such a transparent go-to-market. Players like Amazon, Jet.com, Walmart.com, BestBuy.com. We even have some Asian players selling into the Americas market. You have Alibaba, for example, that is available. They have created marketplaces, and marketplaces allow for much more transparency, but they also allow for a much quicker benchmarking on value proposition of a product or pricing of a product. And so within HP, we spend a lot of time between Cristoph, Kobe, Stephanie, and myself to basically manage the 4 Ps, price, product, place, and promotion, in a much more closed environment in order to make sure that the value proposition that HP has on marketplaces is transparent to our partners. So we're happy with the success we had in the last 12 months on this, but it is clear that we have more work to do. But overall, the fastest growing channel for HP in consumer and in commercial is the online business, and is that reality of omnichannel. I do believe that what we will see going forward is a development where you will have more and more omnichannel partners take over mix in our business, and I think they will more and more sell contractually, okay, to consumers and to commercial partners. From a go-to-market point of view, that is actually a massive disruption that we have to manage. Let me close with 3D printing, a topic that I spend a lot of time on. 3D is at a very important time from a go-to-market point of view, because our technology is now ready to go from prototyping to manufacturing. And that's a very big deal because we are now talking to a different type of customer and also to a different type of partner. Firstly, the partners that manage manufacturing, they have nothing to do with the partners that we know from our PC and print business. This is a completely new go-to-market. These are partners that either are very specific in 3D printing, or they actually partner system integrators, we call them, that have been growing up in managing factories, managing workflows in a factory. A lot of them come from the injection molding industry or from CNC industries. What is super exciting for me and the team is that this is the first time we can actually build our own go-to-market from scratch. You know, in print and PC, we are of a generation that started the career when those channels were already available and we could participate. Now we have to build it from scratch. We have a lot of units out there already that are operating in manufacturing environments. We're learning a lot about digital manufacturing. Just having a printer is not enough. You need to be able to have that printer participate in a automated and a digital setup in the factory. So what does this require? It requires you to blend into applications, in particular applications that are workflow-centric. Think about SAP, think about Siemens. You also need to be able to blend into automation of workflows. And so we're teaming up with, for example, robotic companies in order to make the operation of the printer something that is seamless and doesn't require manual labor. So that's where we are on 3D printing. Very happy to answer any questions on this. But that's my quick update, and I'll hand over to Stephanie to give you a deep dive on our university.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So, before I jump into HP University, I will tell you it's really great to be at this event, and it's really great to be at an event where you're bringing in all of your partners and you're talking to them about growth in a category. So you're familiar with personal systems and print, and for years we were talking about how we're innovating, how we're creating, how we're driving, and you've seen now for 2 quarters in a row we're driving growth in this category. And so to come in to say, hey, we're posting growth, we're posting 12% in personal systems, we're posting 6% in print globally, and to say, hey, we're doing all these things to drive the numbers, and then we have proof in the pudding, basically. And if you drill down a little bit into those numbers and you see, okay, how are we getting to those numbers? What are we doing? You know, our conference, right, the key word in our conference title is reinvent. And we're all about trying to drive reinvention, right, whether that's through our products and solutions or whether that's through our go-to-market programs and strategies. And that's 100% our focus. And from the GBU, our Global Business Unit, down to our go-to-market team, which is myself, we're all about figuring out how we stay in front of the market trends and how we're bringing solutions to our partners to continue to drive growth, right? And a proof point in that, if you think, hey, what's innovation? What are we trying to do? Think personal systems. What about 26% growth? I mean, is that achievable? We delivered that in Q3 in premium products, really largely driven by our X360. So when you talk about innovation and you talk about what can we actually do, we're driving significant growth, and we're very focused on where we want to play and where we don't want to play. So as we roll down into that, this is Marianne, Canada, runs Canada. Couldn't do it without Canada.
No.
One of our key areas is continuing to reinvent our partner programs. And in order to stay above the curve with our partner programs, we not only need to reinvent, but the feedback that we continually hear from our partners is you guys have got to be consistent. Without consistency, we can't continue to work with you and predict our business. So consistency and predictability are key tenets to what our partners are telling us. So as we reinvent, we hold those 2 pillars to everything we do within our Partner First program. So, you know, while it's not new news to say, hey, we're consistent and we're predictable, in this industry, it can be very hard to stay consistent and predictable. And when I look at some of my competition, I see how they're changing. The feedback I'm getting from my partners is, while you have changed a lot, the key tenets that we've told you are important to us remain important, and we continue down that path. So to me, I'm very excited that while we modify and tweak, we hold what's important to the partner community there, and we don't modify it. Secondarily, we look at the market trends, right? Cristoph talked about it. We talk about omnichannel. We talk about the impact of millennials. And it's really nice to say all these things off of slides, but how does that impact our go-to-market in the U.S., right? So how that impacts it is, how do we provide partners value, right, as we continue to reinvent? How do we continue to give them value in what we're doing? And what we believe is your people are essential to everything that we do collectively. Your sales force that's talking to the customers, they are the arms and legs of HP. So how do we enable them to continue to grow in this fast-changing marketplace? We talk about transactional to contractual. We talk about workflow management. We talk about understanding the customer and how we have a conversation where it's not just I have a product or solution, but let me understand what you're trying to solve and do. That's the reason why we're launching HP University. So if you look here at some of the key tenets of this, our whole idea behind this is that while you are our largest labor force in terms of sales, meaning you are partners. For you to be effective for HP, we need to provide you real value in training. We need to provide you not only digital training, modular training, online training, but face-to-face training. We need to provide you tenets that provide you soft skills, product, solution, and then in addition, how we move from transactional to contractual. And how do you take an existing sales force that is largely transactional and shift and develop the skill set and tools necessary to have the conversation? And so our goal with HP University is to provide you the best-in-class, most comprehensive training solution in the industry for your sales force. And we believe that HP will benefit from that because of the value that your people will return to HP. And that's really the gist behind HP University. They can take the certifications and they can take the trainings, whether they stay with the partner for the rest of their lives or if they move around. We're designing the training to fit all aspects of the sales force, right? Every salesperson is not created equally. You have some that are very senior and know how to have these conversations. You have millennials and some early grad or early career college grads that want more soft skills training, that want more detail, that want more product information and more knowledge. We'll provide all of that based on a modular design for how your sales force functions. So if you need quick headline snippets, we have that for your millennials. We also have deep certification, and we also all the way to transactional to contractual and how you change your sales force to manage in that environment. So this is all in addition to Partner First, right? So we have our Partner First, back to my consistency, back to my predictability. We layer on that now HP University. So just a continuous loop of reinvention of how we go to market. So, is there anybody after me?
No.
All right. So Q&A time. Yep.
Can I ask one more team to come up?
Can you go back to the last slide?
Sure.
So is the official rollout of all this content for consumption November 1?
Number one?
It's available, what you're seeing on the slide is available now.
But we'll continue to roll out.
We'll continue to augment it.
Yes, augment it. And another piece of important information here is that we didn't sit in the HP Glass Tower and come up with this program and design. We actually collaborated with 30 partners and iterated with them to understand what works and what doesn't, which I think is, well, I know is hugely valuable to us, but we believe because of our partners' input in terms of the creation of this, we're delivering to them what they're asking for.
Is this available to all partner levels, or do I have to be at a certain level to get into the person?
Yeah, great question. In terms of the details of partner leveling?
Yeah, this is available for all Partner First customers. As long as partners support the Partner First program, it's available to them.
It will be part of the channel program?
Yes.
Or it's separate things?
Yeah, it's Partner First is our channel program, and this fits within Partner First. So on Sales Central is where you can find it. Very easy to navigate, very, I'd say, seamless experience.
It's like a benefits to them?
Yes.
Benefit.
Is it going to be required? Are certain pieces of this or certain certifications or specializations going to be required in the future to move up in Partner First, or how is it going to?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a great question. That's a discussion we're having today. No, that is absolutely not where we're playing today. But as we continue to roll this out, we will discuss how we differentiate between the partners that continue to have the knowledge and experience to sell HP versus the ones that don't.
So can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah, sure.
So are there any, I mean, I'm assuming there's a cost associated with taking this training.
Yes.
So is there any, other than just being a good citizen and getting your people in there to take advantage of this fabulous education, what's the carrot?
So like I said, we believe, right, if to improve your ROI and your effectiveness of your sales team, you as a partner invest in a significant amount of dollars to train your salespeople. And the studies that we've seen have said it's very difficult to show an ROI on sales trainings that you're just dumping dollars in versus a customized, verticalized training. So I would tell you that I would think partners look at this and see this as a huge value to them, not just it's another thing I have to do. Because they become educated to know how to talk to their customer to win the sale over someone that can't. So the other thing that we offer is obviously we have MDF, right? So we're working with our partners is how do we best provide and use our MDF dollars that you have? Do we use some of the MDF to pay for the training? Is this the best use of MDF? So there's different opportunities and different ways you can navigate this.
want to give you one more feedback on this. I think I talked a lot about changes in go-to-market and HP going into different businesses. We actually have a very close look when we ask partners to come with us on who are the ones that are spending time with us. Okay, and I really look at this as spending time. I can also tell you when we look into new businesses like 3D printing, for example, there is a requirement for certification. You cannot operate in this new business without understanding Industry 4.0 and digital manufacturing. So we're actually helping them to get that level, but you need to continue to educate yourself. Security, we talked a lot about this in the general session. You can't fake this. You either are certified and know what's going on, or you can't play in that vertical with us, okay, if you want. And so we're clearly looking at this. We are not making it a stick approach today. There's maybe a bit of a carrot approach from a funding point of view. We are offering it, but whenever we have a decision to make, a choice point to make, we look at it very closely. Who has to be certified?
Okay, so
Mary
guys,
Ann
you're
wants to
saying,
add.
that it may have some soft benefits in terms of field preference
Yeah,
with your
Yes.
people.
absolutely.
And just Mary Ann Ewell here. Mary Ann Ewell is also here for you. to
I'm also
answer some
here,
questions.
I'm still here also. Thank you, appreciate it. I just want to comment on that. I spent a long time on the other side within the reseller community until I joined HP. And when you look at this, the question you said is it's just being a good guy, community, goodwill, because you're HP partners, so you're going to take training so that HP likes you more, or whatever, or there's different benefits that way. I was talking to partners, and I'm sure you see this in your partner conversations. Right now, there is this monumental shift to the solution-based conversation and line of business conversation within the end customer environments. And yes, actually last night, one of my partners said it's the biggest shift we've seen in a very long time. And there will be some that will make it and some that will not. So what we're doing is enabling our partners, and yes, there's some self-serving because it's an HP agenda with a great story about the amazing HP technology. But when you can enable your sales organization to enhance their sales ability into customer environments that they otherwise do not have that skill set, whether they're millennials or they're long in their career or they're in different parts of their career, that is a thing that they will own forever. It will be a sales skill that they will be able to use going forward as the business continues to evolve for the end customer, who's making different questions and requirements and asks of their partners that provide the technology. The other interesting side of that is we're having more and more conversations with those trusted advisors that have a solutions-led relationship within the end customer that do not traditionally sell devices, coming to us saying, hey, my customer now trusts me on my network topology, on my security solutions, on my firewalls, all these other data center or more advanced technologies. I'm their trusted advisor, and now they're asking about devices, can you help them? So they're already there. So our traditional device-selling partners will have not only the traditional competition that they currently have, but they'll have competition now from the solution sellers that have not traditionally sold end client devices. So there's an interesting thing happening in our industry overall. So to me, again, if I were still in the reseller world, I would be very excited about this because it's not just a product selling criteria, it's an actual sales enablement, training of people so that sellers are just better overall. We elevate the entire industry. That's what I'm excited about. Sorry, that's off script.
Two questions, just to finish this off, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Just to be really clear, everything that you just said, I think it makes all the sense in the world for the sales skills training, but I want to make sure I understand. The certifications and specializations that are in Partner First today are now, that content is now being delivered through this medium, right?
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay, great, they're one and the same.
There's only
Yeah.
one training
Yeah.
platform.
And do I hear you saying that you're going to be announcing a marketing certification, not just training content, but a real certification like Cisco has?
Let me address this. By the way, Jeff Cook here, I manage the sales and marketing training team. We are adding marketing skills to the HP University, and there will be things like how to build a marketing campaign, how to create an effective brand, and a number of other trainings and marketing assets that will be added to this experience. And just to clarify one thing, that the question was asked about costs. The training, actually, self-paced training, there is no cost for partners. On certifications and specializations for partners to take the training, there is no cost. The cost is only when they have to be actually pass the exam to be certified. So just, the training itself, it's actually very difficult.
Okay, so you will be adding a marketing certification?
We'll be adding marketing skills.
Yes.
There is some
Not
marketing
skills,
assets now.
certification, like a
and
formal assessment.
formal certifications, that's something that we're looking at the moment.
Okay.
listening that how great the revenue is and how much sales are improving. So like, how much can the channel partners really suck at selling if the numbers are up? So what are we really talking about?
It's a great question. I'll start. I'll turn it over to Cristoph. So like I said, right, this conference, the title is reInvent, right? Because if we're good with status quo, we won't be posting growth numbers. And so what we're seeing is massive, as Marianne said, market trends, massive fundamental shifts in how the channel and OEMs are selling their product and how we're creating solutions and services in the marketplace. And if we don't deliver the right innovation and the right solution, and then if we don't enable our channel to be able to sell it, you know, the outcome will not be good for either side. And so we want to continue to modify and transform how we go to market to stay ahead of the changes that are happening in the marketplace.
You're using a very big word, you're using the channel, okay? That is for HP 200,000 different companies. And not all of them are participating in our growth. Let's be very clear. I think that the channel is currently being more disrupted than I've ever seen it. Two directions the disruption is coming from. Channel is used to most of our channel partners at least are used to a transactional business model. This is not how consumer customers and commercial customers in the future will exclusively buy. I'm not saying that everything will go to contract, but a lot of it will. And this requires a completely different skill set. It also requires the art to service a customer over the lifetime of the engagement. It's not when you hand over the box that you're done, okay? Then the work actually starts. This is what this training is addressing. The second disruption is what I said earlier on, is omnichannel. If you look into how much business is shifting to online partners, how much business is shifting to marketplaces, that is a completely new dynamic. And we had some of our partners out here already on Sunday where we talked specifically about the disruption from marketplaces. So the channel is doing an awesome job, some more than others, but all of them have the potential to be disrupted. And I think one of the biggest assets that HP has, we talk a lot about our products. I think one of the biggest assets that we have is our channel. And we need to make sure that this channel continues to learn, continues to evolve, and continues to be competitive. And I really think that this is what this is all about. And actually the entire week is all about that. Great question.
Other questions?
Are you at liberty to share about what percentage of your online, you know, the retailers and direct marketers that sell online who have made a transition to subscription, contractual base versus project?
No, I'm not talking about
General ballparks? That's it's still a relatively new phenomenon for that.
Depending on what business you're talking about. If I look, for example, at consumer printing,
PCs is what I'm talking about.
PCs is early days.
So what percentage of the channel is participating now in this growth spurt?
In which one?
The general growth spurt that you guys were outlining this morning, and then you said not all the channel is participating equally, so what percentage of the channel is participating?
I would say that probably 2/3 are participating, and that's a US number. It depends very much of how we segment this partner landscape. You have a couple of distributors that are taking share from one another, and that's probably an ongoing phenomenon that you guys know when you cover the US. It's more on the reseller side and the final tier side, where I see a clear distinction between partners that are ready to evolve and partners that are not doing that. I will tell you that the consumer business is probably the one that is more exposed and more ahead of this trend. I mean, I don't need to tell you about how many brick and mortar stores are closing in the US and in other countries. Think about, take that phenomenon from this consumer business and halo it into commercial. And I believe that for one, when you go into a much more solution-based approach in the small and medium business community, there will be disruption there. If we have more and more marketplaces adopting a marketplace for business type of approach, I don't want to name Amazon for business, but that would be one. Okay. Of course, there's disruption here, and so I do believe that 1/3 of the partners that we're selling with in the US are feeling the negative impact of their business from that change. There then we have partners that are clearly, up in high double-digit growth with us, some of them in three-digit growth, because they have invested with us. They've also decided, and I think that's a big credit, they've decided to move mix to us. We have gained share of wallet. So even if a partner as a whole business didn't grow as much, they decided to give us more of their business. I think on the printing side, a lot of that was fueled because of the security features that we have. On the PC side of the business, a lot of that was fueled by the sheer design of the product that stands out. But this is a partner-to-partner kind of decision they are making. Would you add anything?
No, I think what you said clearly outlines it. I also would say, different partners are growing in different areas, right? Some are specializing in as we say, shift to transactional to contractual. We have some of our VARs that have been doing as a service for the last 20 years, right? And so you see them as we pick up this model, they are driving and continuing to lead in that space. Then you have some other players that are largely transactional that are also shifting a portion of their business. As Cristoph said, it's early stages, but it absolutely is happening.
Pablo, sorry guys, would you mind just letting Cristoph
yes, I wish to talk a little about the 3D printing business. So you have a new channel for that. When does it start? If you are a partner, what do you need to do?
What do you need to do? Okay, so it has started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? HP has started in selected countries to ship 3D printing products. We have currently 2 different products. We started approximately a year ago. It was in October of last year, October 2016. What you have to do as a partner is you have to talk to us. Okay, so we are really in one-on-one discussions with every partner right now. This is not a mass recruitment effort. For us, it is.
There is not formal channel program for 3D printing right now.
It's a very closely managed community, and we're not operating with programs right now. If you want, okay. I mean, there's certain structures on how to train. There's certain structures and processes on how to get pricing, but the training, for example, is very dedicated to each partner. Okay, so it is such a complex environment that you need to actually. You can't train a partner or an engineer just on the machine. You have to kind of train them for every particular part that they print. Okay, so it's a very complex type of environment, but it's exciting. We have, and this is a discussion I have with Dave. We have some of our partners from the core business that have had meetings with us and that are ready to invest. What we told them is, this is like setting up a new business, setting up a new company. It's very different. You need to hire a very different skill set, a very different talent than what you would require on selling PCs and printers. And so they are ready to do that. We are looking into, and we have been recruiting 3D printing partners. We are talking to system integrators, small system integrators actually, that run and operate factories today that are really firm in manufacturing. We are talking to companies that are coming from the injection molding industry, coming from the CNC industry. So, I mean, this gives you a flavor of the type of partners we are talking about. What is very helpful to me is whenever I have a forum of, for example, CNC partners, I actually bring 1 or 2 partners from the printed PC business with us, not to talk about printed PCs, but to actually talk about relationship with HP, okay? Because we are a channel-centric company. These new guys don't know us. Okay, they know HP, but they don't know how we go to market. And I do believe it's very important for them, when they're betting the house, when they're betting the farm on HP, that they have confidence that, our word is our bond, and, that we operate in a channel-centric mindset. So it helps, it really helps to have that support from our core business partners in the sessions with these new partners.
Any other questions? Cindy?
Sorry.
Back?
No, please, go ahead.
The one, you guys are trying to get people to lunch, and I'm going to do that.
There's no drinks, so.
Less incentive. So I was kind of surprised to not see the DAS certification being put, or, some of the MPS certifications being put in there if you're trying to, if this is sort of part of moving to contractual. And then my ancillary question to that is, now that you're talking about, adding Apple devices, is part of this, adding Apple devices is part of this, how to sell across operating systems or multiple device atmospheres or fleets?
Yeah. So I'll start and I'll kick it over to you, Chico. Services, as we all said and you heard this morning, is central to everything that we're doing, right? And so NPS and DAS are absolutely and will be part of this training, no question. So perhaps you forgot on the slide, but yes, it will be part of this training. In terms of how to sell DAS and what operating system and what product, these trainings are all about how to have the conversation with the customer and to understand, assess the current environment, understand the workflow, and then provide the right solution. So if you already have an environment that has an iOS environment, your sales team will be able to use and understand how the HP solution can include other environments, whether it's Android, iOS, etc. Ultimately, it's not to sell other products, but it's to understand and assess the environment and then how our solution and services can service that environment.
And just to add on that, I think when we talk about multi-OS, is a key part of our device as a service is the analytics that we can provide. Because if we go into proactive service, if you need to have analytics, or if you need to define the right device to your job, you need to have the right analytics for that. So I think what we're also introducing is that we are able to do analytics for multi-OS and multi-devices. So when we will go into a services contract, we will be able to manage the HP devices, but also the non-HP devices on the customer with the channel, and provide analytics to the channel, showing them also what Android tablet or iOS device, what to do in the network. So I think for us, the objective is understanding that customer heterogeneous environment. They don't have one device, they have multiple needs, and how we can provide analytics to cloud follow.
And Cindy, to underline that point that Kobe just made, you would actually be surprised how many of our customers are approaching us on DAS because they have the need for us to help them on iOS. It is, it's again, I think, the whole Microsoft ecosystem through partners has learned how to service enterprise accounts and commercial accounts. I will say that the iOS ecosystem is not there yet. And so while there is probably a great device and a great operating system, to put that in an enterprise or commercial environment requires a little bit more hand-holding. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity for our partners. It's a great opportunity for us. It gets difficult if it's not automated, if you have to throw labor at it. Okay, you can't make money. Hence, it's super important that we have tools that are OS agnostic. And the other comment I want to make, we're very happy with our Chrome business. Yes, I know Microsoft is a corporate sponsor here, but we have a very successful Chrome business. And the interesting feature is that what started in education, mainly in the US, is starting to really have a positive halo into consumer business. And we do, this comes back to how I started, we do see corporate accounts, in particular those that have moved their content to a cloud. They're asking us, hey, I just need a ramp on and a ramp off. I don't need a hard disk. Show me what you can do with a Chromebook. And the fact that HP is the only vendor out there that has actually a comprehensive Chromebook portfolio is helping that discussion a lot. Now, we're also the only vendor, together with our partners, that can manage all three OSs in a device as a service setup. So it's superb. And this is why I'm really confident this will be a big hit.
Thank you.
We have time for probably one more question. Mike?
Customers have a fourth operating system running around from a company that has a fruit on its label. And since we live in a time where people are willing to consider all kinds of interesting things, I mean, would you ever consider figuring out a way to deliver managed services around that platform to complement the other three?
To be honest with you, we have made a statement that we want to be OS agnostic. I'll leave it at that for now. I do believe that this might require us to service many different OSs. There are much more than 4.
Final questions for execs before lunch? Probably that time.
No, guys, thank you for coming.